Thank you, Jay Boykin and Positive Vibes, for getting the event started this morning with some great music. Not only are they performers, but they are also a musician-led movement committed to using their platform to raise awareness to support those in need. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the pre-show of SCE's 20th Annual Black History Month celebration. This is the first time I've heard of a company hosting a Black History Month celebration for that many years, so thank you for letting me be a part. My name is Shay Famiwa, and I am a lifestyle blogger and social media influencer at The Daily Shade. I share my love for fashion, beauty, and lifestyle across the internet to inspire women to live their best lives unapologetically. This is my first time being a part of this event, so thank you so much for having me. And on behalf of Southern California Edison, thank you for being here with us today to celebrate Black History Month. As you've seen in the communications about the event, the theme this year is building bridges to close the gap. What better way to bridge people together and close the gap than with delicious food? With the worldwide pandemic, many families and friends have been unable to get together to share a meal. Although we can't celebrate in person, Edison still wanted to include a delicious meal with you, even if virtually. As you all know, the restaurant business has been hit really hard with the pandemic, and some unfortunately have closed down for good. We wanted to show our support of the local businesses and showcase 2 Black-owned food businesses. Coming up, we have a local Black-owned food truck and restaurant that are going to share some of their customer favorites. Be sure to check out the list of other Black-owned restaurants on the website and help support those businesses. Now, do you have a favorite Black-owned restaurant you'd like to visit? Let us know in the chat. Now, I'd like to introduce our first cooking demo with the Castile family: Homer Sr., Homer Jr., Michelle, Tracy, and Cameron. Today, they will be cooking up some of their customer favorites: fried catfish, fried shrimp, and crawfish etouffee. If you aren't hungry, you will be after watching this demo. Let's check them out now.
Hello everybody. First of all, let us thank Southern California Edison for coming out on the 20-year anniversary of Black History Month. We want to thank you for the opportunity to share our food truck with you guys. Let me start off by introducing who we got here with us. This is my father, one of the original founders of the 5 C's, my sister Michelle, my sister Tracy, and my niece Cameron. These are all the chiefs. I'm just an Indian here to do the work for them. When they tell me to do something, I just jump. So let me start off by introducing my dad, as I did Homer, and he's going to tell you a little bit of history about the 5 C's.
The 5 C's was started in 1971 by my dad, Homer Castile, my 2 brothers, Sala and Charles Castile, and my uncle, Irwin Castile. That's where the name of the 5 C's came from. We started at 54th and 2nd Avenue, and we flourished from there. We're well known in the Los Angeles area. We are famous for our filet cat. My mom made the potato salad. We used to travel and make the gumbo from our house and bring it to the shop. So it's a vast history of what we did and everything. So the 5 C's was one of the most popular restaurants in the Los Angeles area. So with that, I'm gonna let my son continue on.
So with that being said, I'd love to show you inside the truck and show you where the real cooking happens. Cajun style. So as you can see, this is our trailer here. It's pretty self-contained. As I enter here, we got our refrigerators, how we cook our food, the fryers, the heat lamps, toasters, microwave, refrigerator, preparing station, and this is the serving station where we take in all our orders. So as I'm doing the order, I'm coming to the refrigerator here. So I'm gonna grab a handful of this is catfish. Catfish goes in our special seasoning, handmade by us. As you can tell, a little shake and bake. And right into the fryer. Catfish is started. Catfish typically takes the longest to cook because it is a thick fish and you like to make sure it's cooked all the way through. So catfish is the longest process to cook. We also here have the crawfish etouffee, which we will put over rice, or like I said, introducing the crawfish etouffee and fries that people are going crazy for. So either one of those, I'm gonna make that plate as well. Let me start with the shrimp now. Right now I'm deveining the shrimp and killing them because when we do our shrimp, we butterfly them. So they come out, you know, a nice size and it's a healthy portion. People love our shrimp. Shrimp, filleted catfish. We actually have a new dish we're introducing called Crawfish Etouffee. And we're doing it over fries, over rice. So we have crawfish etouffee and fries, kind of like almost carne asada fries. But we came up with a crawfish etouffee and fries. And we also have the traditional etouffee over rice. So I'll show you one of them dishes as well. And I'm just going to show a couple of fish here. And this is our shrimp. And we have our special batter we make, and we let our shrimp soak in this batter before we fry them. So they'll soak in there as I'm preparing the other food that I'm going to cook for you guys. So once our shrimp has been soaking in our batter here, we cook the shrimp in a no salt seasoning because shrimp is naturally salty because it comes from the ocean. So we cook with our no salt seasoning so we can make sure that our shrimp isn't too salty for people. And like I said, when we cook our shrimp, we butterfly them to where they become a nice sized piece of fish. All right, now we're gonna drop the shrimp. Next I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some French fries out the freezer and our jalapeno hush puppies. Handful of fries. And some hush puppies. Takes about 8 to 10 minutes. The shrimp probably 3 to 5 minutes. Our shrimp, this is our shrimp here, just about done. And like I said, we butterfly our shrimp so they come out. A lot of people mistake our shrimp and like, where's our shrimp? Because they don't know how our shrimp comes out because we butterfly them to where they almost look like fish. Shake it up so nothing sticks together. Voila. All right, shrimp is up first. Nice and done, nice and crispy. After it's done, shake it out. Throw it in the heating pan. Depending on how thick the catfish is, catfish will take a little bit longer. You want to make sure it's thoroughly cooked. And the good thing about our catfish is farm-raised catfish. So it comes from the farm. It's not the bottom feeder that some people are scared of. We get ours straight from the farm where it's grain-fed, and it's not it doesn't have because catfish can have a dirty taste if you catch it out of the river. So this is farm-raised. And we always get our fish, all our fish is fresh, never frozen. So here is our shrimp and fries. So healthy amount of shrimp, French fries, and then we add shrimp to it, and a couple of hush puppies. And from here, we'll go right out the serving window. Order up, Ronnie. All right, pulling out the catfish. I always check it, make sure it's cooked thoroughly. Don't do this at home. Years of hard fingers from doing this. Catfish out. And so now I'm making the catfish and fries. Nice 3 big pieces of catfish. Fries and hush puppies. Order up. Ronnie, order up. Now for our third dish is a crawfish etouffee, the traditional style over rice. So as you see, we have a rice here that we make. And here is the Crawfish Etouffee. And this is something you can't get everywhere. And for our fourth and final finale dish is something we're introducing called Crawfish Etouffee over fries. I don't know, almost like calling it southern fries, but we had a twist with Crawfish Etouffee and fries. So I'm gonna grab a handful of fries. And just like the traditional crawfish and rice, we're gonna put it over fries. And this sells out every night. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Crawfish etouffee and fries, traditional crawfish etouffee over rice. This is our signature dish that we are introducing. We'd love for you guys to come out and give it a try one day. So once again, thank you Southern California Edison for letting us share our culture with you, and let's celebrate diversity and culture through food like our family does. No color lines, we're all one human race, nothing more than that. Make sure to follow us on all the social medias, Instagram and Facebook. And matter of fact, tonight we'll be at the Canyon Crest Winery in Riverside. It's easy to find. See you there.
Thank you to the Castillo family for sharing your story and showing us the magic of your fried catfish, fried shrimp, and your famous crawfish etouffee. I'm Nigerian, so crawfish is something that I've used in preparation of some of our traditional dishes. I'm in the Los Angeles area, so hopefully I'll get to try out your food in the near future and taste those dishes, specifically that crawfish etouffee. Who knows? I may see you tonight at Canyon Crest Winery in Riverside. Now, for our second cooking demonstration, we have the owner, Rhonda Dennis, and chef Deandre Jones from R&R Breakfast Spot located in Chino, California. It is a local favorite, and they do have regulars that come to enjoy their food. Today, they're going to share one of their customer favorites, the spicy shrimp and grits. I told you, you're going to be hungry after watching these cooking demos. Let's check them out.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Dennis. I am the owner here at R&R Breakfast Spot, and we are a breakfast/lunch establishment that has various dishes ranging from grits, chicken and waffles, burgers, etc. First, I'd like to thank Southern California Edison for spotlighting us. It's definitely an honor to have a privilege to market our food and just kind of talk about why we exist. So the R&R does not stand for rest and relaxation. It's actually for Rhonda and Rodney. Rodney is my husband, and he works in the warehouse industry, and he is able to retire in about 3 years. So I've worked in corporate America most of my life, and I knew I would not be able to retire in about 3 years. So what I thought would work best would be for us to start a restaurant, start my own business. I've always been very hands-on in the kitchen, creative, and it just was a no-brainer. All of the names on the menu are my children, my parents, and my in-laws. We take a lot of pride in our food. In January of 2020, we had just started. Very excited about starting a brand new business in Chino, bringing some diversity to this area, and COVID came. So when COVID hit, we were only in business about 2 months. Once the COVID actually started to rise, we were forced to close down just because of the limited amount of food. The death in my family, my dad passed away from COVID, and my husband had COVID 2 weeks after my dad had passed away. So we definitely had our struggles starting. We did get a lot of traction when George Floyd passed away. There were a lot of people that were invested in recycling their black dollars and shouted us out near and far, from the LA area to the Inland Empire, and we got a lot of business that way. So we really we owe a lot to our community because they had a real knack for supporting us and keeping us in business. Right now, the restaurant business is still really hard. You know, the food prices have gone up, and it's really hard to maintain. But we're still here, and we're excited to, you know, meet new people, get new business, grow and expand, and hopefully become the next Black IHOP. So thank you again for spotlighting us. We really appreciate it. So I am very grateful and blessed to have my head chef here. His name is Deandre Jones. He has a culinary background. He had joined us in February, just a month after we had started, and hung in there ever since. He brings great ideas to our team, constantly thinking of innovative ways to bring in customers, new dishes, and I am just blessed. So I'm going to introduce him, Deandre, and you can kind of talk about the dish you're going to make and what your background is and what your aspirations are.
Hi, like she said, my name is Deandre Jones. I am the head chef of R&R Breakfast Spot here in Chino. I was introduced to this place February 2020. Started as a line cook and then worked my way up to the head chef position. Ever since, I have been executing Southern breakfast brunch dishes that people can just love coming here and enjoying each and every day. And not only leave here with a full stomach, but also leave here with a smile on their face and more enjoyment to come back here even more and more. I have a culinary history. I've been a chef for about 10 years now. Graduated from Le Cordon Bleu in Pasadena, California. And it has been such a great experience from going from someone who didn't know anything about cooking but had a passion for it and executing whatever I wanted to do in my career. And it brought me to this place, which has granted me so much blessings to continue to do what I do and improve on what my skill set can be. So today I'll be making a shrimp scampi and grits dish, one of our most popular dishes this year. And let's get started. So for starters, we can get our pan nice and hot. We don't want to start off with a cold pan. And we're going to drizzle some olive oil. And we want to coat the pan to make sure the whole pan is nice and coated. And wait a few seconds on that. So we have our ingredients here. We have our fresh shrimp. We have our compound butter. We have our red pepper flakes and our white wine as well. So for starters, we're going to add our 6 shrimp. Get that going. And for a nice kick, we were going to be adding our red pepper flakes. And we'll just add just a pinch of that, just to awaken the tongue up a little bit. We want to make sure our shrimp gets nice and coated with the pepper flakes and olive oil. And once the shrimp gets nice and semi-pink, we're going to add our white wine. And we're going to burn off all the alcohol. We're going to keep that nice wine flavor to it without getting you drunk. In our bed, we're going to add our grits right here. Grits are right here for me. All right, now that our butter is melted, we're going to be adding our grits. Now, shrimp and grits comes with 6 shrimp. Any garlic or shrimp lovers, it'll be the perfect dish for you. And we're gonna add our sauce to the shrimp. There you go. And then we're gonna finish with a garnish of green onions right on top. And this is our shrimp scampi and grits.
So thank you so much, Southern California Edison, for including us in your Black History Month celebration. Again, we are honored and we appreciate it. We look forward to seeing customers come through at 5460 Philadelphia Street, Chino, California, 91710. We look forward to serving you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you again to the Castile family and to Rhonda and Deandre for sharing their customer favorites with us today. Everything looked so tasty and I can see the freshness in your ingredients. We wish you continued success and I'm sure many of us will be seeing you soon. By the way, I was told if you mention you saw the original 5 C's at the Edison Black History Month event, they will give you a 10% discount on your total order. Now, this is only applicable for the original 5 C's food truck, so be sure to mention Edison for your discount. And as a shopper myself, I always appreciate a discount. Don't forget, the original 5 C's will be at Canyon Crest Winery tonight. If you can't make it tonight, then please follow them on Facebook so you know where they will be next. Also, you can stop by the R&R Breakfast Spot in Chino from Tuesday through Sunday until 3 p.m. and I might just see you there. You know, I wasn't hungry until I saw these cooking demos. I will definitely be getting something to eat after I wrap things up here. I hope you enjoyed this morning's pre-event show. I know I did, and I look forward to tasting these dishes in the future. We have a great lineup of speakers that will be sharing their personal stories of building bridges to close the gap. There will also be opportunities to win some great prizes later in the show, so please stay tuned for those instructions. Now, are we ready to start the main event? Can't tell yet, I can't tell yet. Show me you're ready by typing in the chat. Yes, now that is more like it. We had a great pre-event show and now it's time to start the main event. Again, welcome to Southern California Edison's 2022 Virtual Black History Month event. This year we are celebrating 20 years of SCE hosting this event to celebrate the African American businesses, community, leaders, and their contributions that have impacted and continue to impact our lives. Once again, I am Shei Famuyiwa and I am a lifestyle blogger and social media influencer at The Daily Shei. The theme this year is building bridges to close this gap. What exactly does this mean? Well, the gap is the social disparities with African Americans in pay, education, healthcare, finances, and opportunities, just to name a few. Building bridges is what we can do as a people, as a community, as a society, and as a country to close those gaps. The disparities will eventually dissipate. We may not see it in our lifetime. I always think about my 5th grade elementary school teacher who left a lasting impression on me. She was a Black woman who saw another young Black girl who was so shy and kept to herself and helped me open up and engage in the classroom. And I always remember her when I'm able to talk and speak on social media and just share my love and my passion for things. So today we have speakers that will touch on some of these disparities and how we can all work to build those bridges for future generations. But first, I would like to introduce you to David Ford and Afara Board, who are the founders of SCE's Black History Month event 20 years ago. David and Afara really wanted to do something big to celebrate the National Black History Month event within the company. They both saw the need to celebrate the great work and inventions that past African Americans have contributed to the nation and the world. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear from them directly. Take it away, David and Afara.
Hello, my name is Afara Board, and I am one of the co-founders of the Black History Month celebration here at Edison. I left Edison, retired Edison 7 years ago now, believe it or not, and my last position at Edison was principal manager in the information technology department. After leaving Edison, I went directly into higher education, where I'm professor, also a dean.
And my name is David Ford. I'm a government relations manager in our local public affairs department for Southern California Edison. I'm coming up on my 25th year here at the company, and I am also a co-founder with Afara on our Black History Month event. This really was the birth of how we were able to provide programs and services to the African American community, and inviting them over to see the technology that we had there on display at what we called CTAC at the time, Customer Technology Application Center, created an opportunity for us to recognize the enriched contributions that African Americans have made, such as Lewis Lattimore working with Thomas Edison, Granville Woods, and others who had paved the way.
Right, and some of the things were related to that. The first ones that we had tours. Some of our employees and people from the community would come to the CTAC Center, and we had other employees that would walk through the center and say, here you see some lighting, and oh, by the way, Lewis Latimer were one of the significant inventors that helped us get to where we are today.
We've now identified over the years African American businesses with our supplier diversity department, with our business customer division, who have participated in energy efficiency programs, and recognize them through the years.
Right. In addition to that, it has really evolved where it is now part of a signature event. It's evolved where the community is expecting us to do it. They're looking for, when you're in the community, they say, when are you going to have your Black History Month event? It's evolved where our employees are really excited about it, and they really look forward to it, and they're proud of it. And so it really has evolved from what a thought that we had connecting the evolution of electricity to Black history to what the companies see now as embracing the community, embracing, letting the community know that we are here and we actually celebrate Black history, and we value Black history and what the Blacks do in the community.
I don't know of any other utility in this country that has a event that they have sustained for 20 years recognizing Black History Month event.
One of my greatest memories is when we were asked, Dave and I were asked to go and take our event on the road to Alabama. One of the key thoughts and messages we mentioned to them is that they had Black history 100 feet away from the building that we were in. That's where, the marches in Alabama took places, and all the things that happened there.
One of my favorite memories was really just, we had invited Ambassador Shabazz, who is the daughter of Malcolm X, and then also the great-great-grandson of Frederick Douglass, Kenneth Morse. And they both were in the facility at the same time, standing right beside each other. And it was like staring history in the face. I just want to thank the leadership of Edison for all these years of supporting this event and their commitment, allowing this event to continue to have journey that it has for the last 20 years.
And I too would like to thank Southern California Edison and Edison International for continuing to do this. And also, it's just great to have this event and the other events as a fabric of the company. And I think that's just a testament of how committed and that the company is to in educating others about our histories, all of our histories and our contributions to not just electricity, but for other things that we're doing. So thank you guys for having us.
Thank you, David and Afara, for your vision in getting this event started. If it weren't for you both, we would not be here today. And thank you again, Southern California Edison, for keeping this event going all these years. It is so great to see the importance you place in celebrating the diversity of the community in which you serve. It is because of the Black History Month event that you expanded to include other signature events like Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month in May and Hispanic Heritage Month in September and October. That deserves an applause. I would like to thank Southern California Edison for having me as your pre-event host for this year's Black History Month celebration. It has been great spending my morning with you to celebrate and showcase two Black-owned establishments, the original 5 C's and R&R Breakfast Spot. I hope you get a chance to taste their delicious culinary dishes in the near future. Be sure to check out my page, The Daily Shade, where I talk about fashion, travel, and lifestyle tips for the millennial woman who wants to live her best life without breaking the bank. If you look good, you feel good, and this just resonates in everything you do. Now, I would like to introduce to you your MC for the day. Many of you have had the chance to see him at last year's Black History Month, where he was a pre-event host. Kevin Nash is an on-air personality with an extraordinary presence on the radio scene and has a loyal following throughout California and abroad. Currently, he has a show, The Kevin Nash Show, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Stevie Wonder's KJLH 102.3 FM station. So please join me in a huge welcome of Kevin Nash.
Thank you, Shayi, for the introduction. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to SCE's 20th anniversary Black History Month celebration. And I'm so thrilled to be your MC for this year's event. And I'm looking forward to celebrating the contributions and successes of our African American community organizations and businesses. And as Shayi mentioned, the theme this year is building bridges to close the gap. Now, allow me a minute to share a personal story relating to our theme. I started my career in radio at the age of 12. 7 years later, at the age of 19, I was working on air at a major market #1 radio station in San Francisco. Now, that took the help and influence from my mentors, teachers, and great radio pioneers. They paved the way for me to break into the radio industry. And that same mandate has been placed on my life to help the next young future broadcasters. Hence, the reason I started the Accelerated Radio School of Broadcasting. It's a multimedia learning facility where we have students ranging from 11 years old to 86 years young. Listen, we can all help to build these bridges and close the gap. Even the smallest things can have a big impact on someone's life, so never underestimate what you give or what you have to offer. And we all have a story to share, so let's hear about the bridges that our speakers have built to close the gap. But first, some important safety messages that could save your life. COVID-19 is still a part of our everyday lives, and from the looks of things, it is here to stay. So who knows how many more variants there will be? We may see many more variants, and who knows what impact it will have on us, our loved ones, and our friends. So let's all do our part in stopping the spread of this virus. Now, in addition, Edison wants to remind you to stay away from downed power lines. Now, the high winds we experienced a few weeks ago caused some trees and debris to knock down wires, which impacted power for many communities. If you see a downed wire, do not attempt to touch it, but immediately call 911. Also, if the ground is wet outside or near the wire, do not attempt to go outside or near the water, as it could be live and you can be electrocuted. To kick off today's program, we are honored to welcome Jay and Joel from the Positive Vibes Band. They will perform Lift Every Voice and sing the Black National Anthem. Thank you, Jay and Joel, for that performance. That was great. And that was the first time I've heard of a saxophone rendition of the anthem, and it was beautiful. I loved it. Now, hopefully, you've had a chance to participate in the social media postings leading up to this event and checked out the list of restaurants on the event website. SCE highlighted some local Black-owned restaurants in several neighborhoods throughout Central and Southern California. And since we can't share an actual meal with each other today, we hope you get a chance to taste some of the food from these local spots. Real good. And let's support one another so we can flourish and be successful. And our hashtags today are hashtag SCEBHM 2022 and Black History Month. That's hashtag Black History Month. And be sure to use them when posting today. All right, if you got all dressed up in cultural attire for today's celebration, post your pic so we can check you out. Also, like SCE on Facebook and follow SCE on Twitter and Instagram as well. Now, as Shei mentioned in this morning's pre-event show, we'll be giving away some great door prizes at the end of the program. So, from now until 11 a.m., if you would like to be in the drawing for one of the 15 door prizes, type the word prize in the comments. The word prize, okay? Now, the 15 lucky winners will receive a copy of the Keynote Speaker's book entitled Click 10 Truths for Building Extraordinary Relationships by George C. Fraser. If you are one of the lucky winners, be sure to email your name and address by February 23rd to SCEbusinessCustomerEvents@sce.com. I know that's a lot. SCEbusinessCustomerEvents@sce.com. Now, winners will be announced at the end of the program. Now, here to announce our first awardee is California State Senator Stephen Bradford from the 35th District. He has graciously returned this year to celebrate the 20-year anniversary. Now, Senator Bradford has over 2 decades of public service, first as a Gardena City Council member, then as a state assembly member, and now as a state senator. He made history when he became the first African American elected to the Gardena City Council. As a member of the assembly, Bradford had 43 bills signed into law. That's extraordinary. Currently, he is chair of the Senate Public Safety Committee, as well as the chair of the California Legislative Black Caucus. Senator Bradford was recently appointed as a member of the California's task force to study and develop reparations proposals for African Americans by Senate President Pro Tem Tony Atkins. Senator Bradford is an advocate for criminal justice reform, diversity and inclusion, empowering underserved communities, and bringing equity to the cannabis industry. All right, Senator Bradford had 7 bills signed into law, and he'll tell you more now. And thank you for your support and welcome, Senator Bradford.
Thank you, Kevin, for that kind introduction. Good morning. I'm delighted to be here with you today, albeit virtually, to celebrate Black History Month. Black History Month is an opportunity for all Americans to learn about and remember the many contributions that African Americans have made and continue to make to the betterment of all communities in this nation. Let's remember, Black history is American history. It is truly an honor to be here in familiar territory, as I once served as a region manager of public affairs for Southern California Edison. Since my time at SCE, my career has led me into a life of public service. Key to those duties as a public servant is making sure those I serve are afforded all the rights and services entitled to them. I was asked to speak on the social disparities in African American communities and what we can do to bridge those gaps. First, most important thing we can do is identify exactly what those disparities are. African Americans standing in this country was shaped by the continuity of racist laws, policies, and practices that have become woven into racist institutions and exacerbated by inequality. It is a vital understanding that these disparities are embedded deep into the infrastructure of our country. It's part of this nation's DNA. These disparities include education, employment, housing, healthcare, social welfare, and criminal justice system, just to name a few. The numbers make these disparities crystal clear. Let me share with you what a survey by the Social Policy Institute at Washington University in St. Louis found. And the list is far more extensive than this. 1 in 1,000 black men will die at the hands of police. 1 in 11 black adults are currently under correctional control. 1 in 3 black children live in poverty. 1 in 5 black borrowers are turned down for conventional home loans. And 1 in 7 black children suffer from asthma. And 1 in 9 black children will enter foster care at some point before their 18th birthday. It would be remiss of me if I failed to mention one of the most blaring disparities that face us today, and that would be the lack of African Americans in executive positions. Ideally, the makeup of individuals on executive level of these corporations should mirror the public they serve, the public that ultimately keeps them in business. I unearthed a staggering statistic in USA Today in an article titled, "Why Are There Still So Few Black Executives in America?" We see that fight today, even with the NFL. Of the 279 top executives listed at the top of Standard & Poor's 100, 274 are white. These corporations speak of diversity, yet only 2% of their top executives at the top 50 largest companies are black. The echoes of discrimination ring loud and clear. So it is of supreme importance that we identify these disparities and diligently set out to eliminate them. Once we have recognized and identified the obvious disparities, we must vigorously get to work at addressing them. Via criminal justice reform, black men are grossly overrepresented in the prison population, accounting for 32% of the prison population, but only 6% of the overall U.S. population. Improving the education system, including making federal loans available to those with a felony conviction. Furthermore, the education system be improved to better support black male students to achieve their academic potential. Improving employment rates and opportunities. On average, black men experience higher unemployment rates, lower labor force participation rates, and lower wages than their white counterparts. Policies based on local needs and ultimately sound policy making, high poverty neighborhoods are typically characterized by poor quality schools, less access to jobs and health care, and higher rates of crime. Reparations. You probably can come up with a better instrument for gap bridging than getting back what was promised and stolen from you, allowing people to rebuild via economic independence. As I said, my life has been dedicated to public service and eliminating these disparities. I am fortunate to be in a position to enact real change as one of only 2 black state senators in California. This is why it's important that we continue to celebrate our successes and contributions at events like these. We have a long history of great people that contribute to the advancement of the world today. I'm honored to recognize this year's Gwen Moore Diversity Honorees. I had the pleasure of knowing Gwen Moore, who was the architect behind Junior Order 156. She was a good friend and my mentor. The former California Assembly member epitomized diversity, equity, and inclusion. She used tax laws to sponsor progressive legislation aimed at eliminating racial, gender, and other forms of bigotry. Before she retired from public office, Ms. Moore had more than 400 laws with her name that focused on providing justice and equal footing to women and racial minorities. Moore later founded GM Communications Group, a public relations firm focused on legislative strategy and community outreach. She died on August 19, 2020, and it's an honor for SCE to change the Diversity Business Enterprise Award to the Gwen Moore Diversity Award. This award is given to an individual or company which has exemplified a strong partnership and value with SCE and is a positive representation of its core business strategy of working with diverse suppliers, women, minorities, service-disabled veterans, owned businesses, and LGBT businesses enterprises. Today, SCE is recognizing two people for their work as diverse business suppliers to acknowledge them for their achievements. The first Gwen Moore Diversity Award goes to my good friend, Pat V. Click. With her vast knowledge and experience, Ms. Click has been providing consulting, program development, training, and strategic planning to many businesses. She and her team have over 100 years of experience in the utility industry and expert knowledge in customer service, public affairs, and business process management, just to name a few. Let's hear more from Ms. Pat Click.
Hello there. My name is Patricia Ventures Click, and I am the president of Ventures Click Ventures, LLC, also known as VCV. VCV is a management consulting company working with municipalities, utilities, nonprofit organizations, and educational institutions, and also with small business owners on technical assistance training. Oh, I have a wonderful partnership with SCE. This partnership is strong. They've really helped me as I'm growing my business, and they're definitely in line with GO 156, which Gwen Moore is the author of. So VCV, along with myself, are constantly giving back to all communities, but specifically the African American community. What I do, I provide technical assistance training to small business owners, helping them understand how to get opportunities within the government, within the city, and within the county. My organization has been impacted by COVID because all my training classes used to be one-on-one, face-to-face, but we had to pivot. We had to pivot because of COVID. So now everything is pretty much online, but I went from really a lot of coaching to a lot of helping and assisting. The Small Business Administration worked with a lot of small business owners to try to give them EIDL loans, economic injury development loans, and grants. And so what I did, I really learned the process, and I started helping small businesses get the loans and get the grants. I found that being a bridge builder provides better economic opportunities, social justice, technical understanding, educational expansion, and closes the divides that destroys communities and opportunities. Being a bridge builder welcomes more people to the opportunities that are created, which expands and provides health and wealth for all involved. I challenge everyone to take on these principles and execute the solutions while measuring their success. VCV is honored to be recognized as a recipient of the Gwen Moore Diversity Award. This would not have been possible if it wasn't for my team, Lucretia Grayson and Janetta Harris Dupree. I also want to congratulate my friend and colleague, Ed Robinson, for also receiving the award. I would be remiss if I did not mention a few SCE employees and leaders who contributed to my success, not only at Edison, but as a small business owner. Frank Covedo, William Nesbitt, Linda Sullivan, Terrence Frierson, and Jerry Darden. Thanks for believing in me. And finally, I'd like to thank my family, who are full of entrepreneurs, who demonstrate to me that all things are possible. Thank you.
Congratulations, Pat. It's great to be able to celebrate with you today. Our second Gwen Moore Diversity Award goes to another good friend of mine, Ed Robinson. Mr. Robinson has served and continues to serve his community in many capacities for over 30 years. It's great to see him being recognized with this award, as it is well deserved. Let's hear more from him in the video.
Hello, my name is Ed Robinson. I am the owner and founder of the Sam Ray Life Clarity Coach, which is a hybrid of my late sister Samantha and my late brother Raymond's name, hence the name Sam Ray Life Clarity Coach. I've been working with Southern California Edison through my company since 2020. Additionally, I also do work with Edison Supplier Diversity and Development team, And I read a statistic when my wife and I were raising our children, that a child who is exposed to college before they go to college, especially elementary and middle school, are 7 times more likely to go and to complete college. So we take them on tours of that. And then we also teach them just fundamental, like how to tie a tie. And so those are some of the ways in which my company connects and or give back to the African-American community. Because of the pandemic, it has led some people to become more uncertain about their future. And so thusly, I've had individuals to reach out to me through word of mouth referrals, a host of other manners, to connect with individuals and come alongside them to help them to already awaken the answers that are already inside of them. That's how it's been a very unique opportunity. Well, I am a product of the welfare system. I grew up in the town of Watts, and I know what it's like to be marginalized. I know what it's like to not have the basic necessities. And when I think about a company like Southern California Edison and the things that Edison has done through its strategic partnerships, that is through the grants, the scholarships, the internships, making it possible that individuals from underrepresented communities like Watts and Compton and other areas have access to things that they need to be successful. It does my heart well because I am a radical champion for the underdog, the under community, those who are the least of these, so to speak, because I came out of that type of background. And so bridging the gap to me is really, really vital because that's what someone did for me. I'd like to say thank you to all of you and to the BCD Black History Month Committee. Thank you very much for remembering a po' boy from Compton, if you will. I'm very grateful for the honor. Also want to give a shout out to another awardee, my very dear friend, Pat Click and her company, and the recognition that she's receiving. Thank you. I'm very grateful for Dennis Thurston again and Sally Vegan for making the recommendation. And then lastly, I'm very grateful, thankful to Southern California Edison for remembering the legacy and the work and the great foundation in which I stand of the late Gwen Moore. So I'm very honored to be part of that crowd. And thank you very much. And Edison, appreciate also the cultural appreciations that you do across the year. So thank you very much and God bless.
Congratulations, Pat and Ed, for being recognized as this year's Gwen Moore Diversity Honorees, both of whom I've had the pleasure of working directly with during my time with SCE and since leaving. Hopefully, we'll have an opportunity to celebrate together in the future. Thank you for letting me celebrate with you today. Stay safe and continue to do your part in bridging the gap for our community. Goodbye and happy Black History Month.
Thank you, Senator Bradford, for those encouraging words. It's always great to see you out in the community and representing us in the Senate. And congratulations to the 2 Gwen Moore Diversity Honorees, Venture Click Ventures and Sam Ray Life Clarity Coach. Congratulations to you both. Now up next, we have someone who may be a very familiar face to those who have joined the program over the years, Senior Vice President of Customer Service, Lisa Cagnelatti. Cagnelatti is responsible for overseeing the company's customer products and services, business and residential customer account management, customer billing and credit, contact center operations. Hey, please join me in welcoming Lisa Cagnelatti.
Thank you, Kevin, for the great introduction. And thank you for being our MC for SCE's 20th Black History Month celebration. Good morning, everyone. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be speaking to you today at the 20th anniversary of our Black History Month celebration. I had the pleasure of being the executive sponsor for the event for over 10 years. And every year, I felt like the planning team came up with new ways to highlight and celebrate the great accomplishments of African Americans. On behalf of the senior leadership team at Southern California Edison and Edison International, thank you all so much for joining us today and for your continued support. Many of you are joining us for the first time. Some of you have been here almost every time, and I hope we make it exciting for you every time you join us. As always, we have a wonderful program planned, and we have a great lineup of speakers who will be sharing their stories on how they build bridges to close the gap, or how someone else has helped them to close the gap. Over the course of my career, I have been passionate about mentoring and helping to develop future leaders, because I believe that is the most effective way that I can help to build bridges and close the gap. Can you believe it's been almost 2 years since this global pandemic changed our lives forever and has affected the economic, physical, and mental health of our communities? And through it all, Southern California Edison remains committed to helping all of our communities during these unprecedented times. If you know anyone who is struggling to pay their bill, please encourage them to contact our Customer Contact Center to identify payment options or to see if they might qualify for a reduced energy rate through our CARE and FARA programs. At SCE, we are working to build the bridge to close the gap to provide a cleaner energy future for everyone. Last September, we published our Mind the Gap white paper, where we laid out our ideas about the policy changes and additional actions that need to be taken to ensure that California meets its goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 40% by 2030. That is a huge task. Southern California Edison is investing nearly $900 million into electric vehicle programs in support of these goals. We recently launched 2 full-scale programs, Charge Ready for light-duty vehicles and Charge Ready Transport for medium and heavy-duty vehicles. The number of charging ports that will be installed annually will increase to more than 8,000 per year over the next few years. And most importantly, Edison plans to locate half of those in underserved communities. So in addition to transportation electrification, it is also critical that we encourage the use of electric equipment and appliances in buildings to reduce their carbon emissions. Building electrification, such as encouraging the use of efficient electric heat pumps, will be a critical component to meeting the state's carbon neutrality goals. Now I'm happy to introduce our Clean Energy Champion for 2022, the San Bernardino Valley College Foundation, for their work in educating the next generation of STEM leaders. This organization is being honored for their partnership with Edison for the Clean Energy Hybrid and Electric Vehicle Technician Program and for providing STEM scholarships. With our goal of cleaner air by 2030, these students will learn the skills necessary to enter the electric vehicle and clean energy fields, where technicians who know the latest technology will always be in demand. So let's watch this video to hear more about the great work they are doing.
I'm Dr. Dennis Bias. I'm a retired school district superintendent and also a retired adjunct college professor, university professor. I've been with the San Bernardino Valley College Foundation for almost 6 years now. As an African American, I remember what it was like as a young person in San Bernardino, looking for jobs, being prepared for the next steps, and having the opportunity to better my family. And I didn't see a lot of opportunities when I was going through that. After I started attending Valley College, that's when I started to see the opportunities. This opportunity with Southern California Edison is going to give us the unique opportunity to be on the forefront for a change. We will be the leaders heading into the new generations. Rather than waiting to pick up from behind, we will be moving forward first. The technology we're talking about now is the future. That's the direction we're trying to go. Young African Americans and Latino students need to know these things so they have an opportunity to move forward for future generations.
Okay. My name is Bertrand Kent Melanson. I am the heavy and medium duty truck instructor here at San Bernardino College. We cover quite a bit. Edison has helped us tremendously with purchasing the latest equipment needed in the classroom. We also have a certificate we created, and we have scholarships that we've put together through the foundation for the students that take the courses. Numbers were down. Students, didn't want to come to classes because of the concern of catching COVID and that. But what we did at our college, our department, we created a Zoom link where we did the lectures online, but we was allowed to have 10 students max for each class, and they could come to lab once or twice a week, and we would space them apart to where they can do their lab exercises and understand what we was covering in the lecture.
I believe that building bridges to close these gaps is significant. I think that our new grant will give us an opportunity to provide those skills to our minority communities to help close those gaps. Until we start closing those gaps and the economic gaps, I don't think we can come together and be leaders for everyone that's necessary.
So my name is Mike Lane, and I am the Foundation Director for the San Bernardino Valley College Foundation. The program that Edison has funded has really created the foundation for us to become the hub here in the Inland Empire to provide training for students who want to work on these electric vehicles and other zero-emission vehicles and the charging stations that come with them. What I tell funders and individuals who are thinking about giving to the foundation is that their contributions here have a long-term significant impacts. And that's why these programs like the one Edison has funded are so important, because it changes lives in a meaningful way, and it's a long-term impact. It's a significant impact, and that's something that we, that's a legacy. That's a legacy impact.
Congratulations to the San Bernardino Valley College Foundation for winning this year's Clean Energy Champion Award. The work you are doing and the support you are providing is definitely building bridges to close the gap in the community. We look forward to having your students join us as we help create a clean energy future together. Thank you all again so much for being here with us today. Now I'd like to welcome back our MC, Kevin. You all stay safe, be well, and happy Black History Month.
Thank you, Lisa, and congratulations to San Bernardino Valley College Foundation. Hey, our next speaker is going to give us a bit of history. For those that are a part of a fraternity or sorority, you know the background of these organizations. However, for those that are not as familiar, we have Brother Craig E. Bayless, who will give us a history lesson. Brother Craig is from the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. They proudly serve the Los Angeles metropolitan community through an array of community service projects. To tell you more is Brother Craig Bayless.
Good morning to all of you in virtual attendance. On behalf of the Beta Psi Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, we thank the good people at Southern California Edison for this opportunity to briefly discuss our organization's historical role in building bridges and closing the gap. My name is Craig Bayless, and I am an active member of the Los Angeles Beta Psi Lambda chapter. I was initiated on the HBCU campus of Southern University and A&M College in 1999. What was originally established as a study and support group for primarily Black students who faced racial prejudices educationally and socially at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, progressed into what is still today Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Scholarship, fellowship, good character, and the upliftment of humanity are the foundational principles upon which Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on December 4th, 1906 by our 7 founding members, who we refer to as the Jewels. The Jewels were Henry Arthur Callis, a practicing physician who taught medicine at Howard University. Charles Henry Chapman, a professional educator and professor at Florida A&M University. Eugene Kinkle Jones, the first executive secretary of the National Urban League. George Bedell Kelly, the first African-American engineer registered in the state of New York. Nathaniel Allison Murray, a professional public school educator in the DC area. Robert Harold Ogle, a professional staff member in the United States Senate. And Vertner Woodson Tansey, the first African-American to be registered as an architect in the state of New York. Beta Psi Lambda's commitment to the Southern California area includes our devout focus on mentoring young black males between the ages of 8 to 18, implemented through our program Alpha Esquires. Each year, we recognize the academic excellence of black males graduating from senior high throughout the greater Los Angeles area by awarding multiple scholarship resources to eligible applicants. In addition, we are active ambassadors of voter awareness and registration initiatives, which remains the cornerstone of Alpha Phi Alpha's national program. A voteless people is a hopeless people. Now, while we boast of being the first black fraternity, we humbly recognize that these bridges have not been built only by the hands of Alpha. We are proud members of a consortium of 8 other black fraternities and sororities who are just as devoted to closing the gaps in our communities. Omega Psi Phi, Sigma Gamma Rho, Kappa Alpha Psi, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Zeta Phi Beta, Iota Phi Theta, Delta Sigma Theta, and Phi Beta Sigma, the Divine Nine. Thank you, and happy Black History Month.
Thank you for the history lesson on fraternities and sororities, Brother Craig. I didn't realize the rich history behind those organizations. All right, everybody, it's stretch break time. Let's get up, let's stretch, refresh our drinks, and listen to some great music during this break. Now, you heard them this morning, and Jay Boykin and Positive Vibes are back to entertain us during the break. We have my good friend, Mr. Jay Boykin on saxophone and vocals, Craig Fletcher, vocals, Sam Marcy, guitar, Joseph Villari on drums, Joel Samaye on keys, Daniel Mills on bass. And by the way, I was told that Jay Boykin performed at a past Black History Month event for SCE when he first started his musical career. And now he's back for the 20th year celebration. Take it away, guys. Thank you, Jay, and positive vibes. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Frankie Beverly and Mays. Am I right about it? Of course I am. Yeah, up next, we have someone from the medical industry to share why regular health checkups are so important. She is joining us today because we know that there have been some disparities in healthcare in the Black and brown community. And due to some historical incidents in the past, there was some distrust in doctors from many in the African American community, especially for Black men. Dr. Leanne Burnham is a research professor from the City of Hope, a world-renowned cancer research and treatment organization near Los Angeles. Her research focuses on prostate cancer health disparities within the Division of Health Equities. Let's welcome Dr. Burnham.
Thank you, Kevin, for the introduction. And thank you, Southern California Edison, for inviting me to your Black History Month celebration. I'm so honored to be able to share with you a few of my thoughts on how we can and should close the gap as it relates to social inequity in healthcare. I come to you as a scientist who is a fierce health disparities advocate. At the same time, I'm speaking to you as a stage 4 blood cancer survivor who knows a thing or two about the struggle to receive quality care when you're racing against the clock. In terms of why I was invited to share at this event today, I am an assistant professor at City of Hope in the Department of Population Sciences, and I work within the Division of Health Equities. City of Hope is a world-renowned cancer research and treatment organization providing access to specialty cancer care in the community with more than 35 clinical care sites. Our goal is to give more people diagnosed with cancer an equal opportunity for hope. Without a doubt, when we look to leaders for inspiration and hope, we often consider the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As we commemorate Black History Month, I'm especially interested in a statement that he made at a press conference in 1966. It has been recorded that Dr. King stated in that moment, "Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and the most inhuman because it often results in physical death." Physical death. I'll let that sit for a second. The science of cancer is evolving rapidly, and too many communities are being left behind and left out of progress against cancer. We can narrow this gap, bring more people into care, and ensure that progress against cancer benefits everyone equally. At City of Hope, we are accustomed to treating very ill patients at various stages of disease. Because we are an NCI designated comprehensive cancer center, our name accurately portrays our reputation as a beacon of hope for patients who may have exhausted treatment options elsewhere. Our primary service area spans the northern length of Greater Los Angeles from Sun Valley to Riverside and extends into Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. So when you think of this area, you quickly realize that we serve communities representing an especially diverse population. Cancer deaths in this area are highest in San Bernardino County, and these are driven by cancers that are often characterized as preventable and detectable, such as lung, breast, prostate, and colorectal. Hear me when I say preventable and detectable. In terms of preventable, we know of lifestyle factors that can help prevent lung cancer, the major factor, of course, being smoking. But what about the impact of environmental racism on air quality in our region currently? What we know is that patients who live in high poverty levels have worse air quality and worse outcomes when diagnosed with lung cancer, and this is in the absence of smoking. City of Hope currently has multiple investigators teasing out the environmental factors specific to the Greater Los Angeles area that impact air and water quality differentially by neighborhood. Another cancer characterized as preventable is colon cancer. Beyond the diet and exercise factors that we know curb the risk of colon cancer, colonoscopies prevent colon cancer. That's right. Colonoscopies go beyond simply detecting colon cancer. They literally prevent colon cancer by detecting and then removing precancerous polyps on the spot. When I mention detectable, I cannot stress enough the impact of delayed screening and the likelihood of survival for your loved ones, for my loved ones. You may be aware of the fact that cancer screening recommendations in the US are developed after much consideration of large-scale studies that evaluate the benefits or the pros and cons of early screening. What you may not have considered is that these large-scale studies that steer the decision-making process of recommendation guidelines do not include anywhere near an adequate number of non-white patients. For example, the current recommendation for prostate cancer screening is that men discuss screening with their physicians around age 55. Unfortunately, many Black men are less likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer much earlier, as early as 40. What happens is that many Black men miss the window to detect prostate cancer when it's still curable. That is the case with my own father, who was diagnosed when he was 50 with prostate cancer, and his cancer had already spread. Hear me when I say already spread, a full 5 years earlier at age 50 than the recommended year for screening, which is age 55. Early detection is key. It's a matter of life and death, literally. I'm not suggesting to walk away from my words today and throw recommendations to the wind. I'm just saying, when you're in your doctor's office, advocate for yourself. Make sure that your race and ethnicity, your family history, and your lifestyle are all taken into account when choosing and interacting with your medical care providers. Cultural competency from your medical care providers is, quite frankly, a matter of life or death as well. There are multiple studies that demonstrate that quality of care and survival outcomes are affected by cultural competency. There's no room for implicit bias in clinical care, yet we see this trend consistently across the board. We see this in maternal death rates that are exponentially higher for Black mothers who often report that their needs are not taken seriously. And these interactions are reported frequently, even among celebrities such as Serena Williams following the birth of her daughter. We see this same disturbing trend with sickle cell patients who are often Black patients. When they have pain crises that are defined by periods of debilitating pain that are often viewed by medical health professionals as drug-seeking behavior. To counteract these disturbing trends at City of Hope, we are developing the next generation of cancer care professionals to reflect and relate to the people in the communities that we serve. We are quite literally changing the face of cancer care by building a stronger cohort of diverse clinicians, while also building a pipeline of diversity for the future. There are ways that we can close the gap currently. We know that equal access to care closes the gap. We are at the cusp of a new era in precision medicine. You might say, what exactly is precision medicine? Precision medicine is tailoring treatments by individual and by family history because of unique insight into a person's individual genetic profile. Genetics affect your cancer risk, but in addition, genetics affect your response to treatment. All too often, innovations like precision medicine have not benefited communities that are racially diverse, medically vulnerable, or economically disadvantaged. In fact, it's only amplified health disparities. At City of Hope, we recognize this flaw in medicine and science and are constantly evolving our mindset and how we approach our experimental designs. We are delivering on the promise of precision medicine to understand risk and find cures for all patients. If we know that certain populations are more likely to suffer from earlier disease or more aggressive disease, and if we can find ways to provide cutting edge and optimized treatments earlier on in the disease process, then we're closing the gap in healthcare head on. My personal passion is to close the gap in cancer care. My challenge to you is to dig deep inside and determine how you can help close this gap for yourself, for your families, and for your communities.
Thank you, Dr. Burnham, for your work in closing the gap in healthcare, and congratulations on being a cancer survivor. It's that type of insight and experience that makes for better patient care and treatment. Now, I'd like to welcome Pedro J. Pizarro, President and CEO of Edison International and a member of Edison International's Board of Directors. Pizarro has served on the Electric Power Research Institute's Board of Directors since 2016 and became chair of the board in April 2020. He was also elected as one of 3 vice chairmen for Edison Electric Institute in June 2020. He serves on the boards of Argonne National Laboratory and Caltech, and has served on the boards of Electric Power Supply Association, California Power Exchange, Colburn School, House Research Institute. Please join me in welcoming Pedro J. Pizarro.
Thank you, Kevin, and welcome back. It has been a great show so far today, and I want to thank all of you for joining us for our 20th anniversary Black History Month celebration. It's exciting. A special thank you to Sheyi Famuyiwa, our guest chefs, David Ford, Afara Board, Senator Stephen Bradford, Dr. Leanne Burnham, Cherie Owen, and Dr. George Fraser, for all of them being a part of today's celebration. As David and Afara mentioned this morning, we value the importance of recognizing and celebrating Black history. Seeing those pictures brought back some great memories. Well, we know that today customers are better off when we have a diverse workforce that reflects the communities and the companies that we serve. Edison issued a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion report in August of 2020, and we committed there to a multi-pronged diversity initiative that included funding a line worker scholarship program. Well, I'm happy to report that Edison International developed a 4-year, $1 million Edison Line Worker Scholarship to provide scholarships and additional support totaling up to $25,000 per recipient and a chance to begin a career as a groundman. IPE Local 47 committed $50,000 per year to support the program, and we thank them for the partnership. Brotherhood Crusade, a local nonprofit support services administrator, provide food and childcare, rent, and general support. Well, they're tracking scholar progress and funds. And our academic partner for the necessary accredited courses is the Los Angeles Straight Tech College, where the scholars take their prerequisites and earn their Powerline Mechanics certificate. Lastly, Scholarship America is the nonprofit program administrator that reviews applications and makes tuition payments to LATTC. So again, thank you to all of our partners. And it's so exciting that the first cohort was focused on increasing Black representation among line workers. 100% of the first set of awardees are Black. Their average age is 31, and they come from all over Southern California, majority of them from LA County, with 1 participant from out of state in Nevada. Now, the 2022 application period opens March 1st, and awardees will be selected at the end of May. So if you know folks who may be good candidates, please invite them to apply. This relationship between businesses and our communities is really important at Edison. And for more than 130 years, we have partnered with local nonprofits. We strive to maintain 80% or more of our philanthropic giving for underserved communities and programs that help provide support and resources for our most economically vulnerable neighbors. Our Edison Scholars program is another way we support the community. This one is one of my favorite things at Edison. And since 2006, Edison International has awarded more than $12 million in scholarships to 700 students. And we've supported their college studies in STEM subjects. Over the last 3 years, an average of 11% of their scholarships were awarded to African American students. Now, at Edison, we're committed to the communities that we serve, and we want to recognize and support students who have a passion for making a difference in our world. So now, let's take a quick look at our 2021 Edison Scholars.
Each year, Edison International awards $40,000 scholarships to 30 high school seniors living in Southern California Edison's service area. We are proud to present our 2021 Edison Scholars.
I'm Vanessa Mescla.
My name is Omar Bahana.
Hello, my name is Kania Boucher. And hi, I'm Flynn Budai. And
my name is Isaiah Brooks.
My name is Junior Berg.
Hello, my name is Pedro Calderon.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Canchola Martinez.
My name is Stanley Chan.
Hi, my name is Aiden Chavez.
Hi, my name is Brian Dario de Leon Busby.
My name is Joshua King.
My name is Markina Abdikima.
Hi, I'm Jared Frazier.
Hey, my name is Nicole Iftikhar.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne Clara Kim.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine Leva.
Hi, my name is Noemi Liu.
Hello, my name is Nessie Monahano.
Hi, my name is Sophia Mirza.
Hi, I'm Malia Mitchell.
Hello, my name is Samaya Mohameder.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Peralta Sanchez.
Hello, I'm Mariana Robles.
Hello, my name is Jonah Freedom Sampson.
Hello, my name is Dom Teach.
Hello, my name is Gideon Telehoon.
Hello, my name is Raul Torres Jr.
Hello, my name is Yosei.
My name is Gustavo Valenzuela.
Congratulations! Your future is bright.
These scholarships are wonderful, and they help these students reach their potential, and I look forward to seeing the great things they do in the future. I think some of you know I'm trained as a scientist, so this is exciting for me that we're supporting STEM, and these future leaders will bring new ideas. They'll invent new ways to do things. They'll apply new technologies and transform our whole economy in positive ways that we have yet to imagine. The way we do things is changing, and these students are already leading that change. Now, it gives me great pleasure to present the recipients of the Community Partnership Awards to an organization that has provided notable, long-standing, innovative, and crucial services to the African American community. This year, we are excited to recognize Brotherhood Crusade as one of our 2022 Community Partnership Honorees. As I mentioned, they are one of our key partners with the Line Worker Scholarship Program. Let's hear more about Brotherhood Crusade and the amazing work that they do.
Hello, my name is Sharice Brahman Weaver, President and CEO, Brotherhood Crusade. Brotherhood Crusade is a 53-year-old community-based organization that serves the most vulnerable youth and families in South Los Angeles, Inglewood, and surrounding communities. We focus on health, education, institutional building to support youth through learning, thriving, connecting, working, and serving.
My name is Curtis Silvers, Executive Vice President of the Los Angeles Brotherhood Crusade. The SCE and Brotherhood Crusade partnership has lasted for over 10 years. We are involved together in civic engagement opportunities, most notably the inaugural Line Worker Scholarship Program, where SCE and Brotherhood Crusade are helping to bring in diverse individuals into the program, especially focusing on African American men. Our employee engagement opportunities have been vast by having current and former members of SCE serve on our corporate advisory board, as well as volunteer for several community-based organizations, as well as we've been blessed by receiving donations from SCE employees through your workplace giving campaign and through individual donations.
Brotherhood Crusade has been impacted by COVID in multiple areas. First, Brotherhood Crusade made a decision when the governor and the mayor of Los Angeles said safer at home. 2 years ago, Brotherhood Crusade, our students and our families are not safer at home. We made a conscious decision to be open. We made a conscious decision to ensure that our students would have the technology that they needed. We provided over 3,000 tablets with hotspots to our students who we were serving directly. We also provided more than $900,000 in monetary support throughout these last 2 years to the families directly who we serve in the community. Building bridges should be everybody's thing. When you have a corporate entity like SCE, and understanding that through all of this, it takes all of us to make things better. It takes all of us to make our communities better. But more importantly, when we have the opportunity to serve those who have the least, and we do that, that's when we get to change the world.
At Brotherhood Crusade, we believe power and partnerships, and we are really honored and glad that we have a strong and strategic partner in SCE.
Well, hey, big congratulations to Brotherhood Crusade as one of this year's Community Partnership Honorees. So exciting, and I want to thank you for supporting our community. And I agree with you, Sharice, that we should all be building bridges to close the gap. Now, I am honored to announce our second Community Partnership Honoree, and that is the National College Resources Foundation. Now, they originally started as the Black College Expo, and from there, Dr. Price expanded her efforts to include the Student Athlete Program, the Movement Enrichment Program, the Latino College Expo, and Students Think STEAM initiative. Let's hear more from Dr. Price.
I am Dr. Teresa Price, founder and CEO of National College Resources Foundation, also the founder of Black College Expo, Latino College Expo, Students Think STEAM Expo, also our Students Think STEAM initiative, also the founder of the Movement Enrichment Program, also the founder of HBCU Football Combine, HBCU Basketball Showcase, and the Movement Enrichment Program. We are a 501c3 educational enhancement agency. Our mission is to curtail high school dropout rate and increase enrollment to degree and/or certificate programs among underserved, underrepresented, at-risk, low-resource, homeless, and foster students. Our vision is to close the gap on educational achievement, workforce, and economic disparities, with the goal to end racism and racial inequalities. Edison would always send volunteers, their employees who served as volunteers for our Black College Expo, and that really helped us be able to be immersed in the crowd and engage in the crowd. We've had as many as 35,000 people attend the Black College Expo. So having Southern California Edison come in at first as a volunteer partner and then to grow as a partner. Because of Southern California Edison, we've been able to help over 500,000 kids get into college. We've given away over $1 million in scholarships. We've helped students secure over $1 billion in scholarships and grants. We've helped over 1,000 students get placed in internships and careers. We've helped over 900 athletes get athletic scholarships. But it's because of partnerships like we have with Southern California Edison that we're able to do this. We help them. We're one of probably the only organizations that we actually help you apply for a scholarship and we give you a scholarship. We help you apply for college and we can get you into college. We also stay with our students as they navigate through college because we really want to help with retention and matriculation. COVID has had a huge impact on underserved communities. And a lot of people probably didn't realize to the magnitude, but we were in it and we still remain in it. Those students are still homeless. Homeless doesn't stop after a day, after a month, even after a year. Homeless may happen through your whole years of college. You're trying to get to that next level and you're coming from nothing to try to get something. Well, we know the gap is widening. We just talked about COVID, so it's widening even more. Our closing of the gap is doing and creating programs where students feel empowered and they're led and they have the resources and the information to move, to be great, to understand that they could do it. And that's what National College Resources is all about. I would like to thank Southern California Edison for just recognizing us, National College Resources. Just as a community, I am just so humbled and so thankful. And I feel so blessed to recognize that we're just trying to make a difference. So I thank you. I thank you.
Well, congratulations yet again to our Community Partnership Honorees. It is through the efforts of organizations like Brotherhood Crusade and like the National College Resources Foundation that we are able to build bridges to close the gap. Their efforts now make the future better for later generations. So I want to express my thanks once again for everything that you do. We stand by our African American communities and colleagues, and internally, we proudly support our business resource group, the Networkers, in its work to continue uplifting our African American colleagues and communities. Well, with that, let me turn it right back over to you, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro. And thank you for your commitment to the Black community by investing $1 million for the next 4 years in the Line Worker Scholarship Program. There aren't too many corporations that are committed to investing in future diverse workers, so thanks for leading the way. Our next speaker is joining us to give us some insight into disparities in education, as well as sharing her personal story of building bridges to close the gap. So we have with us today Cherie M. Ohen, Associate Dean for Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging from Harvard University. She is responsible for developing a strategic vision for strengthening diversity, inclusion, and belonging at the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. Born and raised in California, Ohen received her undergraduate degree in English from the University of California, Berkeley, and went on to earn a law degree from Golden Gate University School of Law. Let's welcome Cherie Ohen.
Well, good morning or afternoon, depending on the time zone that you're in. I am honored to join you from the Northeast in Boston, and I have a bit of envy because it's a bit chilly here, but I am a proud Californian, where I was born and raised in Southern California, and later on went to college and spent the majority of my professional career in Northern California in the Bay Area before moving here to Boston in Massachusetts. But it is a privilege to be a part of Southern California Edison's 20th annual Black History Month celebration, where we get to honor those that have gone before us and those that are yet to become. And I thought about this, the theme for this year of building bridges to close the gap, and how that resonates with me both on a professional level as well as personally. I think professionally, I started my career as a lawyer practicing law in the criminal law, civil rights litigation, and employment law. And I particularly went into those fields when I thought about access to justice and creating equitable platforms and looking at the disproportionate impact on communities of color, and particularly within the African American and Black community. And now in my career, working in an institution of higher learning, I think about the impact of our future leaders and thinking about the infrastructures that are conditioned within institutions of education, both pre-K to K to 12, as well as access into higher education. And then once you're here, thinking about the employment experience and what does it look like for everyone to be able to thrive? When I think about the strategic vision of institutional and organizational excellence, and how excellence, a bedrock to excellence, must be built on inclusion and equity, where there's fairness and a sense of belonging, where everyone can show up in their authenticity, no matter their background or creed, and be able to succeed. And I remember one of the projects that I worked on when I first joined Harvard last year, and it was thinking about the racial disparity of senior leaders of color when you think about organizational excellence, not just getting in and onboarding diverse talent, but what does that look like throughout all aspects of the organization? And so this has been some really illuminating work, hard work to move systems and structures and move the needle, but work that must happen and needs to happen across all of our sectors. So again, very excited about that and the opportunity to pave the way and create opportunities for others to be able to succeed. But I want to spend the remainder of my time more talking about personally how the theme really resonates with me. And today I had saw a quote from a friend on Facebook that really struck me. And she said, "Your story is a story that only you have. It's so very important that you own it and that you bring it." And so today I want to share a little bit about how others stepped in to close the gap for me and how I have committed myself to helping to close the gap for others. So, a little bit about that is the power of representation and also how mentorship matters. So I am the first in my family to attend college. And when I say my family, I mean my entire family. My grandmother had 9 children, and I have over 30 cousins, And out of my entire family, I'm the first one to graduate. And that's because my mother's sacrifice in creating opportunities for me to say the opportunities that she did not get, she was going to pave the way and make sure that myself and my sisters were able to have those opportunities. But also remembering when I was 8 years old, I remember the first African-American that I saw in a suit. His name was Mr. William Burford in Southern California in Long Beach. And as the story goes, I went up to Mr. Burford and I asked him what he did. And he told me that he was a lawyer and owned his own practice in Long Beach. And I had said, I want to be what he is, and I'm gonna work for him one day. I still remember everyone laughing, but both happened. But they didn't happen by happenstance. They happened because Mr. Burford and others stepped in to be able to close those gaps for me. Mr. Burford, he not only shepherded me and allowed me to shadow him as a high school student, he mentored me throughout my entire college, four-year college experience, and helped to navigate the educational experience when no one in my family had done that before. And he also offered me a job after I went to law school and created that employment opportunity for me. So not only did he give me advice, he shepherded me through the entire life cycle of my educational experience that led to an employment opportunity. And I say that to say that advice only takes you so far, but modeling, actually removing the barriers for others, is what was able to intentionally close the gap for me. And that's what I try to model today. And I ask and I call my colleagues and others to do the same when we think about what does that look like to reveal and illuminate those hidden networks? What does it look like to build social capital? What does it look like to think about the policies and the practices that only are built for those that look like the majority in an organization? And how do we make sure that we're really valuing and living up to our core values, or we say we value diversity, we value equity, we value inclusion, to make sure that that's embedded in every aspect in the fabric of everything that we do. I am excited again. I was inspired by last year's event, and it's such a privilege and an honor to share with you today and to spend a little bit of my time and share a little bit of my story with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your personal story, Cherie. It's so awesome that your mentor, Mr. Buford, took you under his wing and helped to provide that bridge to your success. Well, we're down to the home stretch. Here we go. Our keynote speaker for the day comes to us from Cleveland, Ohio, Dr. George C. Frazier. Dr. Frazier is the chairman and CEO of FrazierNet, Inc. Let's check out his work.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Kevin, for that beautiful introduction. And thank you to the leadership of Southern California Edison. Happy Black History Month. We're celebrating a single day today of an entire month of excellence. And so let me just start by just keeping it as simple as possible. I've got about 20 minutes. I believe that America is the greatest country in the world. And there is no place that I would want to be, that I would want to live, that I would want to raise my family for than America. And at 77 years old, yeah, I know I look 35 or 40, but I'm really 77. But there's some huge gaps in this country. There's a wealth gap, certainly between Blacks and whites or cultural minorities in America. There is a relationship gap in terms of how we build relationships and the skills necessary to build effective relationships so that we can mitigate the challenges of the racial divide in this country. We are a country that is absolutely all about multiculturalism. We are a country that is now focusing on diversity and inclusion as a major objective. God bless America. So we need to touch on that. The key to breaking the chain of racial hatred and prejudice is close personal friendship. A lot of people think it's education. No, it's not education. You could read every damn book that you want on closing the racial divide, but if you do not have a close personal friend that doesn't look like you, you're actually part of the problem. Someone that you break bread with, someone hopefully that you're working with, someone's home that you visit does not look like you, so that when you sit down and talk about the tough issues of the day and somebody says something stupid, you can say to them, that's not true. So close personal friendship. Where is the best place to start close personal friendship? Where do we spend our most time together? It is in the workplace, in the teams that we have to work with. Put that on your calendar if you have not already done it. And you live in California, so there's plenty of opportunity. Put that on your calendar as something that you want to do. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is the economic divide. There is a huge gap between Blacks and whites in America as it relates to wealth. There are plenty of reasons, long-term historical reasons for that, but let me say this to you, my brothers and sisters, as a Black elder. Yes, I am Black, in case you were not entirely sure. That is actually the beauty of our culture and race. We come in all shapes, sizes, skin tones, and hair textures. Understand that our wounds are not our fault, but our healing is our responsibility. So we are going to have to do everything that we possibly can to close this gap. What does that gap look like? Well, white Americans today, white American households today own 90% of the national wealth, and Black Americans altogether own 2.6% of the national wealth. And we've been here 400 years. We are responsible for fixing that. Or if we don't, we are headed into a second slavery. Now, this is not something Dr. Fraser has made up. The Institute of Policy Studies came out with a major study in 2016 entitled The Economic State of Black America. And the concluding statement of that study said simply this: by 2053, just 10 years after the country is projected to become majority non-white, Black median families will own zero wealth if current trends continue. And 20 years later, Latino median families will follow suit. White median family wealth will be in the deep six figures. If you're trying to operate in a market-based economy and a democratic capitalist society, and you have no money, zero wealth, you are functionally in a second slavery. So we have to fix that. We have to upgrade our financial education and financial illiteracy. The Wall Street Journal came out with a major article not long ago that said that financial illiteracy is an American problem. So if financial illiteracy is an American problem, it's 10 times the problem, certainly in Black and Brown communities. Let me say that a different way, and I want to say this and still be loved. If you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage $10,000. You don't suddenly know how to handle money by obtaining more of it. Financial illiteracy, I repeat this for you, financial illiteracy is not a side effect of wealth. Wealth is a side effect of financial literacy. Are you financially illiterate? You really need to think about that. There's no reason to be. There's so many courses online, free of charge, to educate you about your wealth and how to manage that wealth into the 21st century, 22nd century. You should be ashamed if you are not taking advantage of those. We do one every week called the Generational Wealth Alliance, and all we cover for 2 hours on Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, is financial education. Don't be an NBA player. Why? 60% of NBA players go broke within 5 years after making millions of dollars during their career. 70% of lottery winners go broke after 5 years or after winning millions of dollars. And 78% of NFL football players go broke within 2 years after retiring. There's some habits that we have to break. And one of them is that we don't talk about money. We don't talk about money at home. We don't talk about money in our church. We don't talk about money in school. So we have to start talking about money. So I want you to start a list of things that you want to achieve, not by this year, because it's going to take you longer than that, but certainly within a decade. And you're going to do this not only for yourself, but you're going to do it for your children, because everything we do for our children, just as everything our parents did, they did for us. If our children cannot see the future, they will not pay the price. Minimally, do this for your children. There's a beautiful passage in the Bible, Proverbs 13:22, that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. This is what we must do. Every Black and Brown family, or every family for that matter, should have a list of 10 things that you are striving for to give you the economic portfolio and platform to take your family and ultimately to take our country to the next level. What are they, Dr. Fraser? Very simply, everyone should own land. That's the cornerstone of most wealth. Everybody should have some gold, some hard metals, gold or silver. Everyone should have cryptocurrency. There's an economic tsunami going on right now. 100,000 millionaires have been made in the cryptocurrency space. Get educated about it. Do it with people that understand it. I just recently got involved in it, and it's just incredible. And cultural minorities are notorious for being underinsured. And a GoFundMe campaign to bury your relatives is not a life insurance plan. All right? There was an interesting study the New York Times made on Black people and their cell phones. And what they found out is that more Black people have insurance on their cell phones than on their lives or the lives of their children by a factor of 10. So that means we value our cell phones more than we value our lives or the lives of our children. Every family really should have an LLC. I don't care if you bake cookies and put them in a box and sell it to somebody, you should have an LLC. The tax benefits of an LLC, even for a small or micro business, is profound. Every person should have an investment account. I didn't say a savings account. Let me just say this and still be loved. Don't save your money. You're not making any money on your money. You're saving something at 0.5% a year. You're not even keeping up with inflation. right? So you're losing money, saving money, invest your money. Let me say that a different way. An average person spends the money they make, but a rich person spends the money that their money makes. And you know what they do with the money that they make on their money? They invest it in a cryptocurrency portfolio and get you a certified financial planner. Don't try to do this yourself. You're not an expert in wealth management. You should have a stock portfolio. You should have a trust. A trust is far more important than a will. What you can do with a revocable trust and the probate that your family doesn't have to go through once you die, and the money that you will save with lawyers and going into probate court, put your assets in a trust. A trust is where you own nothing, but you control everything. This is what rich people do. You can get one for $329 on LegalZoom. I've done the research. Compare a trust to a will. Now, if necessary, you can have a simple will, but basically you should have a trust. They're still fighting over Prince's money he left without a will. They're still fighting over Aretha Franklin's money she left without a will. All right. So have a will, minimally, but better have a trust. And finally, I think every family should produce an essential product, whatever that may be, whatever God leads you to do. But your little side hustle, who knows what that can lead to. As I said, if you bake cookies, put them in a box and sell it to somebody. We must stop being the conspicuous consumers in America. Yes, we are the consumption class, and they are the merchant class, buying everything. The goal is to win, not to look like we're winning. I would rather carry a plastic bag with $5,000 in it than to carry a $5,000 Louis Vuitton bag with $100 in it. You're not winning. Louis Vuitton is winning, Armani is winning, Gucci is winning, Nike is winning, and you are not winning. Networking, building relationships. You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, in case nobody has told you. And the fastest way to change yourself is to hang out with people who are already where you want to be. Let me say that a different way. Don't spend major time with minor people. People going nowhere want you to go nowhere with them. People doing nothing want you to do nothing with them. If you want to change your life, change your relationships. If you are not where you want to be in life, it's because you don't have the right people in your life. That is on you. This is biblical. Dr. Fraser did not make this up. Again, a wonderful passage in the Bible, John 5:30, a direct quote from Jesus Christ. 1,200 words of direct quotes from Jesus Christ, John 5:30. And Jesus said, I of my own self can do nothing. Now, this was Jesus, the Son of God. He couldn't get it done on his own by himself in a vacuum. Let me tell you a really simple reason why relationships and effective networking and building those relationships and having a high emotional intelligence, which is a companion of building effective networks and relationships, because business is about relationships. Without relationships, you have no business. Without relationships, you have no business being in business. In fact, the business that you're really in is the business of building relationships, in case no one has told you. Okay. Now, we make some mistakes after observing and teaching and writing 6 books on this subject over the last 40 years. There are some mistakes that most of us make, right? And I don't have time to unpack them all. I'll come back in a part 2 at some point in time. But the 7th biggest mistake is most people never follow up when they're given a business card. The fortune is in the follow-up. Please follow up. I've given out 1,000 business cards in 40 years. People used to worry, Dr. Fraser, aren't you afraid that people are going to bug the hell out of you? No. Here's what I know about people. 99.999% of you will never, ever follow up. It's tragic. That's the 7th biggest mistake. The 6th, you make a poor first impression. Right? Think about your elevator talk. When you meet people, they're not interested in your life story. You got 15 seconds to get their attention. And what you want to tell them is something that will pique their interest so that they will want to know more about you later. Okay, not right now. So the 5 elements of a great elevator talk, 15, 16 seconds long. Who you are, where you're from, what you do, how do you add real value? And then if you add real value, quantify it and prove it to me. Okay, my elevator pitch is really simple. Hi, I'm Dr. George Fraser from Cleveland, Ohio, by way of Brooklyn, New York. I'm the CEO and founder of FraserNet Incorporated. I write books and speak on economic development and effective networking. I help people turn acquaintances into friends and contacts into contracts. And over the last 40 years, I've helped over 10,000 people secure over $1.5 billion in new business. Good to meet you. That's an effective elevator talk, right? The 5th biggest mistake is you don't spend enough time networking. Most of us, and a lot of us, don't even think it's that important. It's everything. Spend more time working on cultivating and developing relationships at work, at home, and in the community. Right? The 4th is you have no system. If you don't have a system, you don't have a business. I don't know what you have, but it ain't a business. The same thing is you need a system, a routine that you do every single day that facilitates your ability to cultivate, nurture, and to build relationships in the 3 most important areas throughout your entire life: at home, at work, and in the community. The 3rd biggest mistakes, you don't bring anything to the table. You're not committed to lifelong learning, personal growth and development, and constant never-ending improvement. You're sort of average, and you can't be average. Either you are excellent or you are invisible. No one's interested in hanging out with average people. All right? This is especially true for Black and brown people. We cannot be average. Right? There's stereotypes that we have to overcome. We must be amazing. Our parents taught us that we're going to have to be twice as good to get half as much. So be amazing, be excellent. Dr. King talked about that. He said, if you're a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper in the history of the world. Do it with excellence. The number 2 biggest mistake that you make when networking is that you think that your IQ is more important than your EQ or your emotional intelligence. Wrong. Nope. You're going to find out that as you get older and wiser, your EQ, your emotional intelligence, your ability to manage and control your 5 most important emotions, and to use the management and control of those emotions to cultivate, nurture, and to build relationships, and a high emotional intelligence. I want to recommend a book that you read. I want you to pick it up. It's called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Read that book twice and then read it once a year. It will change your life. Okay. And the final biggest mistake that we make when networking is that most people network to get something. Wrong. You network to give, and as you give, if you ain't giving, you ain't getting. If you have nothing, it's because you've given nothing. That you cannot take out of life that which you have not put into life, just as you cannot take out of the bank that which you have not put into the bank. That's the number 1 mistake. You network to give and not to get. And as you give, you get. It is impossible to give and not get, because that's how God has designed the system. It is also in the Bible, it is better to give than to receive. So I'm constantly trying to find out when I'm talking to you or networking with you, how I can help you. So the formula is very simple, and I close with this. Here's the formula. Help me. Help you. Help me. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I say it with love. Keep doing God's work. Chart a good and righteous course. Then stay that course. Love all of God's people. And then all that is due you will come to you.
Dr. Fraser, man, those are some great tips and really put things in perspective for me. And I was definitely taking notes. How about you in the virtual world? What stood out the most for you? Let us know in the chat, okay? Now, for me, it was don't spend major time with minor people. I'm going to use that, Dr. Frazier. All right, we had such an amazing lineup of speakers today and touching on many points that really affect the Black community and all communities. And we hope you learned some things and got some inspiration and you feel motivated to take action to change things for the better. Not just for yourself, but for others as well. And we can all take small actions that make a big impact. If you aren't already, start building bridges to close the gap. And thank you to our guest speakers, Seyi Famuyiwa, David Ford, Afara Board, Senator Stephen Bradford, Dr. Leanne Burnham, Brother Craig Bayless, Cherie Ohen, Dr. George Frazier for sharing your story of building bridges to close the gap. And thank you to the Edison executives, Pedro and Lisa, for 20 years of celebrating Black History Month. And thank you to the guest chefs, the Castile family, Homer Sr., Homer Jr., Michelle, Tracy and Cameron, and Rhonda Dennis and Deandre Jones for showing us some tasty dishes. And thank you to Jay Boykin and Positive Vibes for providing the musical entertainment for us today. And lastly, thank you, the committee, for putting together the virtual event and for having me back as the MC. I so appreciate that. I love being here. And I know what you're thinking. All right, okay. Hey, when am I going to announce the winners of the door prizes, right? Well, the time is now.